I don't think you actually need a ton of gear to accomplish like shooting a wedding video. I think I'm gonna try something different in today's video. I'm gonna try shooting it all on this iPhone, or most of it on this iPhone. Okay, so maybe I lied. Maybe some of this is going to be shot on my big fancy camera, but most of it is going to be shot on my iPhone. One, because I wanted to challenge myself a little bit. That's really dark here. Watch this. I'm gonna put this light up and right there. Now I'm overexposed, but I can bring that down and let the white balance adjust. Okay, I think that looks better, right? One of the main reasons why I'm going to be shooting a lot of it on my iPhone is purely because I have to use this camera, my Sony, for the wedding that we're shooting today. We're shooting a photo video wedding, and that's actually why I'm in here right now. I'm packing up a lot of our stuff, and I want to also make sure that our batteries are all being charged. But honestly, I think most of it is actually charged. The only thing I have to charge really is the battery that was in the camera already, and that's almost done charging. So now I just have to get everything and put it in the bags. The only bags that I use, I get this question a lot, but the only bags that I really bring for video weddings, mostly just because I want to pack super light, and I want to keep everything as condensed and local as I possibly can. But the only two bags are really going to be my backpack and a Pelican. The backpack is for me, and then the Pelican is for our second shooter. And I said this before, but that way I can have my own space and they can have their own space. With gear and everything else, and it keeps everything a lot cleaner, and I found that I lose a lot less when there's two separate bags, or there's a bag per person that's on the shoot with us. For the past couple of weeks we've been shooting we have two weddings a week, and one wedding is photo and video, and then the second wedding is just photo. But this week's a little bit different. This week we have a video wedding today and a video wedding tomorrow, and with that's actually kind of nice. I mean, video weddings are objectively, at least from my experience, there's a lot more to do with, because you have the added thing with audio, and then you have to like capture moments like in video format instead of capturing moments with a single picture. That takes like a second to. In any event, when we have to go back and forth between photo and video, there's different gear that's required to accomplish it, and with that, I always feel like I am more prone to lose things or forget things because I'm having to take things out, put things in, take things out, put things in. And with having back-to-back video weddings, I don't have to deal with that because everything is just going to stay in the individual cases minus the batteries that we're having to charge. And like from the whole like headspace type of thing, like there's two completely different headspaces with video versus photo. We've actually had a couple of people ask if I could do like just video for the ceremony and then do photo for the rest of it, and we say no most of the time, not because like we're not willing to do it, but because it requires like a video, and photos it requires two completely different headspaces, and it's really challenging and really difficult to be able to jump back and forth between those quickly in like a dynamic situation like a wedding where the stakes you can't get you're not going to get a redo. All that being said, when I pack these, they're going to stay packed for the week, and that's great. And I think next week is a video wedding too, so for like 2 weeks just going to stay packed, and I'm not going to have to yes. When I first started shooting weddings, I brought a lot. Like I brought a gimbal, I brought multiple things. But the longer that I've done weddings, the more stripped back my gear has become to just the bare essentials. And I don't think you actually need a ton of gear to accomplish like shooting a wedding video. You honestly only need a handful of gear that can fit in one of these packs. You don't need like a Pelican full full of things. And with that, I think it just comes down to, a lot of this I think comes down to personal preference and how you specifically work. For me, I value being nimble and being able to get shots quickly and catch like curveballs, over having to deal with like my gear and like having to like maybe like fight something like a gimbal. I used gimbals for a long time for weddings, but eventually I just kind of gave up on them because I found that I was missing a lot of shots. I was missing a lot of moments that helped make the video feel less like sterile. It made it feel more personal to those individuals because you caught the interactions that they have on a regular basis, and it's purely just because I run with just a Sony camera, and that's pretty much it. I use the internal stabilization and maybe a monopod, and the monopod is mostly for if I don't want to hold something for like 20 or 30 minutes. But 9 times out of 10, if you ever see me at a wedding, it's going to be this kind of setup: a Sony with a lens and a mounted microphone on the hot shoe, and that's pretty much it. This is just me, but whenever, like when I was using a gimbal and I would see people show up with like just their camera and they didn't use like a gimbal or anything to any kind of shoot, and they were just holding it, and if I didn't know the work, then I would just assume that they were a beginner. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why we equate like having like a bunch of gear to like being experienced and being really good, because at the end of the day, if like you can make like incredible videos on an iPhone, you don't need to have like a big fancy camera gear rig. And with like me being like doing this longer, and honestly the older that I get, I feel like that view is slowly starting to shift. I'm starting to not really care what they bring or what they shoot on. Like if they shoot on Nikon, Canon, so none of that really matters. What really matters is the end result. Are you able to tell a story well and produce a good video with whatever gear that you're using? And that's something that I wish I would have really learned early on, because it would have saved me a lot of money in camera. I mean, look at all these. These are just like gimbals and like different tripods that I use or have used and haven't touched for a long time. Like I would have been able to save all that money if I would have just, whatever, it doesn't matter.